16 WEPT News at 6 starts now.
Good morning, and thank you for waking up with us on this Tuesday, October 30th, 2012. I'm Megan West.
I'm Keegan Fox.
And I'm Tammy Eswick. We're following a lot of news this morning, including breaking overnight. Sandy strikes the East Coast. More than a dozen people are dead. There's massive, widespread flooding. Firefighters are battling flames and waist-deep water, and more than 5 million people are in the dark this morning.
Those power outages forced 200 patients to evacuate a New York City hospital, and officials believe some people may be stuck in their homes.
Yes, and Mississippi teams are headed east to help with the rescues this morning. The storm is also leaving a transportation nightmare. Roads washed away, public transit closed, 7 tunnels in the New York subway system are underwater, and there is no timeline for pumping that water out. So what is next? Let's send it over to meteorologist Ethan Houston for weather first.
Yeah, that image you just saw, that was the Hoboken terminal there of one of the tunnels that has flooded. And again, that's salt water. That's not fresh water. So brackish water moving on into New York City. Right now, winds are starting to come out of the north. That's good news for New York. Instead of becoming out of the west, we'll start to see the tides come down across right along the Atlantic coastline, and eventually we'll start to see some improvement through New York through the day today. Where the worst of what is left sandy will be today will be in the Midwest, from Detroit, Cleveland, Columbus, on down toward Charleston, West Virginia. Heavy snowfall falling through southern Ohio and now into the mountain portions of Kentucky. We're talking a foot or so possible in eastern Kentucky through the day today. Closer to home, our weather has an indirect effect of Sandy. We have the cold air from Canada being shoved all the way down to the deep south. Right now we're at 37 here in Jackson, 36 in Macomb, 33 if you're with us on the river in Vicksburg. And it is going to be a chilly start, frosty in some spots. Over now to the weather maps, and for the bus stop forecast, clear and frosty this morning. Temperatures will be in the mid-30s as you head off to school. A chilly breeze will be out there this afternoon, and highs just a touch warmer than yesterday in the mid-60s.
Thank you, Ethan. This is new overnight. A woman rescued after jumping from a sinking ship in the Atlantic has died.
That brings the U.S. deaths from Sandy to at least 14 so far. Here's video of that rescue off the coast of North Carolina. 14 other crew members were saved from the HMS Bounty, but this morning the Coast Guard is still searching for the ship's captain. Well, Sandy slammed into the New Jersey coast with 80-mile-per-hour winds last night and knocked out power to over 5 million people. Tammy?
Keegan, New York utility companies are forecasting that it should take about a week to get power back to those residents. Now, they're dealing with a lot of issues out there, including down power lines, a shutdown of the underground network, and an unexpected explosion at a substation.
This is the most catastrophic event that we have faced and been able to plan for in any of our lifetimes.
Heeding the warning, and we're going. And I'm hoping that I have a house when I come back.
Emergency crews are still trying to assess the full extent of the storm's damage.
I cannot, in good conscience, send them in the dark, given all the various hazards that would occur.
Now, the full extent of that damage has not been assessed at this hour. They are still looking into it as the daylight approaches. Also new overnight, the city's largest hospital has been evacuated. Now, this is because they could not get their backup generator to turn on. Over 200 people are now being moved to another hospital. Now, they're starting with the sickest and the youngest patients. They're being moved first, including 20 babies from intensive care. Also overnight, New York firefighters are having a hard time putting out a house fire. The heavy rains are making it hard for crews to reach the fire. The flames have spread quickly to businesses and other homes nearby. So far, there have been no injuries reported. And Jackson airport officials are urging travelers to check their tickets to make sure that if they fly out of Jackson, they don't get stuck in another airport.
Yeah, we've mentioned the travel disaster we're seeing because of Sandy at airports around the country, Tammy. Jackson airport officials say they're usually called in to help other airports with whatever they need after a storm event, but so far they have not yet been asked to pitch in. Of course, that may change.
Hurricane Sandy is an October surprise that is impacting both presidential campaigns. President Obama is in Washington monitoring the storm, and he's canceled campaign events for today. Mitt Romney's campaign stops are also canceled for today. And between the two campaigns, more than 24 events have been canceled. And remember, you can always track hurricanes with the 16 WAPT Hurricane Tracker app for your smartphone. The app is free and it's available for both the iPhone and Android. Well, at 6:04 on this Tuesday morning, time is running out for the Jackson Public Schools.
District leaders have until only 5 o'clock today to agree on some new guidelines set by the state, or they could lose their accreditation. Our own Andrew Kinsey is live at the State Department of Education to talk about this. Good morning, Andrew.
Good morning, Megan. This decision could impact thousands of students across the school district. This issue over compliance is something that officials here at the State Department of Education have been going back and forth with Jackson public school leaders since 2010. Here's the big issue. The district has failed to comply with the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. Now, in a 4-3 vote Monday, district board members rejected a deal that would have given JPS until June to resolve that issue. Now, the deal required JPS to give up control over special education so that the state could come in and fix the problems. Now, if the district does not accept the terms set by the Department of Education, they will lose accreditation, which would mean that 30,000 students in JPS would not be able to participate in postseason activities. Here's what the mayor had to say about the issue.
Hopefully, the school board will, take whatever action is required in order to keep accreditation. That would be my expectation, and I'm sure that would be the expectation of most of the people here in the city of Jackson.
The JPS board members have planned a special meeting for later today to reconsider the state's offer. Again, if they can't reach an agreement by today, their accreditation will be pulled. Live in downtown Jackson, Andrew Kinsey, 16 WAPT News.
Thank you, Andrew. 6 minutes past the hour now. Ridgeland police hope the public can help get a cold-blooded killer off the streets. We do have a warning for you this morning. The video you're about to see is disturbing. This is surveillance video from the Party City Friday night, where a gunman shot and killed the store manager, 68-year-old Bobby Adams. Now, in the video, we see Adams try to get the gun from that gunman, but he was unsuccessful and was shot and killed there in the store. The gunman actually stepped over his body, threw employees 2 book bags, and told them to fill them up. The gunman is then seen speeding away in a white Chevy SUV. Looks similar to a Trailblazer. The Ridgeland police chief tells us he needs help to solve this case.
We need the public's help. We need your help immediately to take this person off the streets. This guy is a cold-blooded murderer that we want to put in jail as soon as we can possibly do it.
He loved working in an environment where people could come in and visit with him and
helping the kids with the costumes.
And the family of Bobby Adams tells us he'd been planning to retire soon and move to Kentucky to be close to his daughter and his grandson. If you can help solve this case, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers at the number on your screen. It is 601-355-TIPS.
Jackson City leaders ask some residents to cut back on their water use. This is for residents below I-20 from the Pearl River to Highway 18. It also includes the area south to the city limits and the Greater Jackson Industrial Park. There was a water main break yesterday off of Daniel Lake Boulevard and I-55. Some residents are frustrated after their water pressure dropped.
It's very low. I actually took and washed clothes, and I noticed a difference. So I had to do one at a time.
I don't plan to water the yard or wash the car or do any of those things, so it should not affect us that much.
Authorities have not said how long it will take to repair the problem. Still to come, Sandy's surge. So much of the East Coast is underwater. How long will it take for Sandy's water to recede?
And take a look at this. A 10-ton crane broken and dangling over New York City at risk of falling at any moment. We'll tell you about engineers' risky plan to keep it from crashing down. 6:08 now. We'll be right back.
This is 16 WAPT News, the one to watch.